Let's talk about the future. A future that's coming way faster than any of us expected. Imagine a world with 10 billion robots. That's one for every single person on Earth. Now, this future could unlock a level of productivity we can't even fathom. But it's also teetering on the edge of a brand new, all-powerful monopoly. Today, we're diving into the coming fight for the soul of AI, using some incredible insights from IT visionaries, the Liberman brothers.
So let's start with a number that honestly, it just sounds like science fiction. 10 billion. That's how many robots the Libermans are predicting will be online. And we're not talking about some far-off century. We're talking about the next 30 years. Just try to picture it. A robot for every human. A personal assistant that never sleeps, always working, always learning, right alongside.
You know, for the past 100 years or so, there's been this really reliable trend where our productivity quadruples about every 3 decades. That's already pretty amazing. But when you add 10 billion robots and truly advanced AI into the mix, well, you're not just continuing a trend, you're talking about a genuine explosion. A complete shift in what humanity is even capable of. But, and this is a big but, there's a catch.
And here is that catch. This unbelievable future, this boom in human capability, it's heading down a path where it's all going to be owned and controlled by just a tiny handful of corporations. We really need to understand how this is happening because, it's a pattern we've seen play out before.
It's like we've seen this movie before. Every single time there's a huge technological shift, it creates this massive opportunity for just a few players to consolidate all the power. Think about the move to mobile phones or the shift to cloud computing. They all started out as these wide-open fields with tons of competitors, right? But they all ended with just a few giants left standing. The AI revolution? It's following that exact same playbook.
I mean, just look at the mobile world. The entire market basically boiled down to 2 gatekeepers, Apple and Google. And then you look at the cloud, the actual backbone of the modern internet. It's the same story. Just 3 companies, Amazon, Microsoft, and Google, they control almost everything. Are you starting to see the pattern here?
Okay, look at this, the mobile OS market. That tiny little sliver on the chart, that's everybody else. 95% of the entire market is locked down by just 2 companies. They own the platform, they make the rules, and you better believe they take a cut of everything that happens on it.
Now let's jump over to the cloud. 3 companies control 2/3 of the whole global market. And if you add in just the next 2, that number jumps to 80%. This is the digital real estate where basically every app and every service you use lives. And it's an oligopoly, plain and simple.
So, with all that in mind, who do you think is building the massive, power-hungry data centers that this AI revolution is going to need? Yep, you guessed it. Amazon, Google, Microsoft, Meta, Apple, and just a few others are pouring billions into creating the proprietary, closed-off infrastructure that's going to power our robotic future. History isn't just rhyming here. This is a direct sequel. All right, so what? Why does any of this matter? Well, it matters because a world run by a monopoly has a cost. And it's a cost that every single one of us is going to have to pay. Let's break down a really key term here, the monopoly tax. The best example is that 30% cut that Apple and Google take from every single app sale and in-app purchase. It's not a suggestion, it's not a fee. It's the mandatory price of admission to their market. You want to play on their field? You have to pay the toll.
And this is where it gets really scary. The Libermans argued that this 30% tax, that's not the ceiling. That is the business model. In a future where a couple of corporations own the AI that can literally create any software you want on command, what's to stop them from taking 50% or 70% or even close to 100% of the value that's created on their platforms? Without a real alternative, the answer is pretty simple. Nothing.
This is such a crucial insight. We all expect competition to drive prices down, right? But in the digital world, it just doesn't work that way. Think about self-driving cars. The big promise was that they'd be super cheap because you're getting rid of the driver. But what's actually happening? Well, they cost about the same as an Uber. Why? Because they can. They price it at whatever we're already willing to pay.
Okay, so this all sounds pretty bleak, I get it. A handful of powerful companies are on track to basically own the next evolution of humanity. But the Liberman brothers found inspiration for a way out. And they found it in a very, very unexpected place.
I mean, this is the real question, isn't it? How can any startup or open source project, or even a whole country, possibly compete with the nearly bottomless pits of cash and resources that big tech has? It just seems impossible. But what if a competitor already exists, hiding in plain sight? I want you to remember this number.
26 gigawatts. That is a colossal amount of electricity, more than some entire countries use. And it's the power being consumed by a single, global, decentralized computer network that nobody owns.
So that 26 gigawatts, that's what powers the Bitcoin network. Its security model, proof of work, essentially turns raw electricity into computing power. And here's the absolute kicker. The combined computational power of that network is already greater than the public clouds of Amazon, Google, Microsoft, and Meta combined. Just let that sink in for a second. A decentralized network built by a bunch of enthusiasts has accidentally created a supercomputer that outmuscles the biggest corporations on the planet.
For the Libermans, this was the aha moment. Bitcoin proved that a global community, motivated by the right, open protocol, could build infrastructure on a scale that rivals and can even surpass the corporate giants. It's a blueprint. It shows that an alternative isn't just some crazy dream. It's actually computationally possible.
So, the thinking goes, if this can be done for digital currency, it can absolutely be done for artificial intelligence. The blueprint is right there for us to build a global, open, and decentralized network for AI.
So here's the vision. First, you decentralize computing power. You create a system where anyone, from a gamer with a powerful graphics card to a small data center, can contribute their idle computer power to a global network and get paid for it. Second, this creates this huge open marketplace for computation that empowers innovators everywhere. Think of a student in Mumbai or a startup in Buenos Aires, people who are completely priced out of the AI race right now. And third, you use this network to fund and train truly open-source AI models that are transparent, auditable, and owned by the community, not a corporate board.
The benefits here would be absolutely transformative. For developers, AI processing could become thousands of times cheaper, which would unlock applications we can't even imagine right now. We'd get powerful AI that isn't some corporate black box, meaning we can actually look inside, understand its biases, and trust what it's telling us. And the network itself would be resistant to the control of any single CEO or government. But most importantly, innovation would just flourish, because anyone with a great idea could build on it without having to ask a gatekeeper for permission first.
So this really presents us with a pretty stark choice. On one side, you have a future where innovation is gatekept, prices are kept artificially high, and control is dangerously centralized in the hands of a few. And on the other side, you have a future where innovation is permissionless, costs are driven down by real competition, and control is distributed all across the globe.
So, here we are at a crossroads. The AI revolution is not coming, it's already here. And the technology for a decentralized alternative has been proven to work at scale. The key takeaway is that the fundamental architecture of our digital world is being built right now, as we speak, and the choices we make today really matter. Supporting the projects, the companies, and the policies that favor open, decentralized systems, that's how we vote for the future we want to live in. So the only question left for us to answer it together is this: who gets to build it? Will it be a handful of corporations, or will it be all of us?